WWE fans, if you guys knew what we went to bring you a show each week, you would send us millions of dollars. But you don't. So instead, you get to hear us talk for the next 30 minutes or so all about WWE's Survivor Series War Games coming up in just a couple days as part of a crazy weekend. I mean, this is all the different events that are going on this weekend that have to do with combat sports. We just did our other show the other day. There literally are one, two, three, four, five different professional wrestling or MMA events going on in the next 5 days or in the next 2 days. That's the crazy thing.
Sound like you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm not going to sleep a lot, which is about normal anyway. But for people who don't know, he's my tag team partner, Daniel Snyder. I'm Jeremy York. This is Fabulous Wrestling Talk WWE. Let's start with the question I tried to ask you a couple times before our audio was corrected. Is there something you're looking forward to on this card, or just overall thoughts on Survivor Series in general?
Survivor Series back in the day was my second favorite WWE pay-per-view. It was it wasn't premium live events. It was pay-per-views.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
I always like Survivor Series because you'd get a mashup of superstars that you usually don't see team up. And then before the matches, even leading up to the pay-per-view, they'd have interviews and you'd get to get all 4 or 5 of the performers sitting there talking and saying
You get 4 or 5 random people standing there and Gene Okerlund just trying to figure out who's supposed to have the microphone.
Yeah, so and also one of my favorite things about it was them trying to come up with a name that makes sense for the group. I've always liked the Survivor Series. I hated that they got away from the Survivor Series matches and it's turned into another just pay-per-view. I like that they introduced the War Games. I actually stopped watching Survivor Series back about 15 years ago, to be honest, maybe 10 years ago, just because it was Survivor Series. It was 1, maybe 2 Survivor Series matches and a whole bunch of single matches. It wasn't led up to like this year's has been. I've never seen a War Games, so this year I'm going to enjoy it.
You were in for a treat.
I seen the War Games back in WCW. I seen the Sting, Road Warriors. I seen those. Those were always good. Always enjoyed those.
Basically, just modernize that into the new style, and it will be very brutal, very barbaric, very other words that don't start with B.
I think I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's actually what I'm looking forward to. I'd have been happy if it had been an entire premium live event of 4, maybe 5 War Game matches.
The only thing I don't like about these is that at least 2 to 3 of them get dinged up pretty good to where they miss a little bit of time. And usually one of them is out for months at a time because just something chaotic happens and somebody throws a shoulder out or something like that. And especially given a few of the people involved, a couple of them are going to miss some time because they're prone to get injured during stuff like this. But other than that, they got the men's Survivor Series War Games. We'll talk about it in a second. They've got the women's. I didn't think they'd add a women's, but they do kind of have the right mix of people, and there's some things that could happen with that. But I want to dig into the 3 matches that are going to supplement this because I very much think that the women's War Games is probably going to open the show, and I think the men's is going to close it down.
I agree with you on that.
It just sounds like something they would do.
I seen that Monday Bailey helped Bianca get the first pick, who starts the match. I have a feeling Friday is going to be to see who gets the men's.
Because really we could have looked it up because they recorded tomorrow's Friday Night SmackDown last week. They did like 2 shows at once or something like that. I remember seeing it all over the internet where they've had spoilers for over a week on what was going to happen because I think they were trying to get everybody into town and everything set up. And so they did like SmackDown last week, I believe.
Didn't know.
It may be their way of trying to keep people healthy.
Because they know somebody's going to
But
get
let's dig into the other matches, and I'm just going to kind of go in a random order, basically based on importance and based off how I think these are going to go. I'm going to actually start off with Braun Breaker, who is defending his title. What has he got? The Intercontinental title or U.S.
Yes.
I think he's got the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
He's going to face Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. I don't know why we suddenly have to make this a triple threat. I get
It's
kind of where they're going with it,
did
but
you see this past Monday?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
Shane
I know how it got there. I
don't
figured
know
he
what
should
was the
take on
point.
one and not both. But they've suddenly decided to push Ludwig Kaiser as a solo guy away from Gunther. They've kind of split him off. So, I mean, best way to do it, stick him in a high profile match. But I just think there's going to be a little too much chaos going on in this, which is weird because I'm going to talk highly about a match with 10 people in it in a minute. But Breaker is a big guy. Sheamus is a big guy. Kaiser is a decent sized guy. There's just only so much room in that ring. And I think Breaker retains, but I wouldn't mind seeing Sheamus have another title run before he's done.
If there's anything that I learned from a month ago is that if it makes sense in my mind or anything like that, then
They do
it's
the opposite.
yes, yes. I've learned. I've been humbled very very quick with these picks on what I think is going to happen and what I think makes sense. So in my head, I'm saying they're doing this. This Sheamus was added so that Ludwig could win without pinning Braun. That's what's saying in my head. So I'm going to say Braun wins.
Yeah, yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. And for one, that way Breaker can pin Sheamus and it not
Ludwig
be a
not look
blemish
weak.
on Kaiser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you can
I
do it
think
that way.
Sheamus will be the one that loses the match. But
Unfortunately,
so that's exactly what's going to happen, in my opinion. I agree with you. I think it'd be nice to see Sheamus get the title and run with it. Just like
sure.
I'd love to see Randy get the championship and run with it just for a little bit and then drop it to John Cena and then John Cena drop it to whoever they want to put the title back on. But that's neither here or there.
Right. But at least we both agree we're pretty sure Braun Breaker's walking away with this one. If they do something different, then that's great. I feel like this is probably going to be match number 2 on the card. Like I said, and I think 1 will be the women's, 5 will be the men's. I think this will be number 2. It will be semi buried behind whatever happens at the women's war game. Up
Or
next,
it could
what
be
I
number
think is
4 because I don't know what else. I
it
don't know
could
the
be.
rest of the lineup.
It could be, but I do think the next match I'm going to talk about will be the third because I do think they want some distance. They've got a returning superstar. They've got a belt on the line that both of us have been trying to move off of the current holder because we think he should be doing bigger things. Your favorite, L.A. Knight,
Yeah.
is going to face the returning Shinsuke Nakamura, who has suddenly came back as some sort of possessed evil demon or something. I'm not sure exactly what he is. I like it that he came out of nowhere. He's doing these kind of smoke and mirror things, and I mean, he needed to do something.
Yeah,
But
because he was boring.
the problem is he had ran his course the other way for the most part, and so to do something different, this would be a good way to move the title off of LA Knight. I wish there was a little more build up, so maybe not this match, maybe the second time they face because they're notorious for moving belts off of PLEs too. But I'll be honest, we both like LA Knight. I'm a big Nakamura fan too. I want Nakamura to win this because I want it to free up LA Knight to do some other stuff. Maybe win the Royal Rumble.
I agree with all the above. It makes sense for a returning Nakamura to win this. I feel like they've been trying to get the belt off of LA Knight. They just haven't found the right
Yeah.
person that could carry it. Nakamura could carry the title with pride and dignity. Um, so I think he loses the belt here, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. I agree. I'm ready to see LA Knight get a bigger push. Him winning the Royal Rumble and going for the title at WrestleMania is perfect.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what I see, and I think this is a good number 3 spot. So I could see that. I could see this being number 3. Did you?
because you want it to stand alone. You don't want it to get jumbled in with the rest of it.
Yeah. Did you see the unveiling of the Intercontinental title for women this past Monday?
Yeah,
I'm wondering
they're
where they're going with that.
see because that one's going to be the Raw belt, and the U.S. title that they unveiled a couple of weeks ago is going to be the SmackDown Women's belt.
Oh, so
There's
they
a
got
U.S.
a United States belt for women now too. I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
yes, and I said earlier in the week on the show Strong Style that this is great because they finally have a roster deep enough to where
Just
you can carry
multiple
5
champions.
storylines at once. You know,
Yes.
the U.S. belt, the Intercontinental belt, both world belts, and the tag belts. You have the roster even between NXT and that you have enough people to really make these make sense and not just be the same 2 people in every match.
I might be me personally. This is me speaking for how I would like. I think it's time that they, especially with the Netflix thing, that they start to really separate SmackDown and Raw and
Hmm.
have a premium live event for each one each month.
The way they
You could
used to.
have a Raw one, and then 2 weeks later have your SmackDown one, and then 2 weeks later have a Raw one. It's been a whole month since the Raw one. You're getting more premium live events out, and for the big shows, for the Survivor Series, for the WrestleManias, for the Royal Rumbles, for those you would be able to do a 3 week in between the
Yeah,
two,
you
and,
combine them.
and combine them, and they would make those shows big again. It would make
Hmm.
WrestleMania because
Hmm.
you don't get to see all these guys together. You don't get to,
Right.
so 4 times, 3 times, 4 times a year, you'll get to see all these guys together. I just feel like that's something that needs to be looked into. And also, I feel like it'd be real interesting to see. It would give them the opportunity to have the brands kind of interact with each other, and but it would be weird. Like it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it'd be unique. Like, oh no, what is he doing on Raw? Back
Yeah.
like it used to be. So
Instead of now, where if you want to see Cody Rhodes, he'll come out on Monday Night Raw and talk about a SmackDown storyline, and then go to the back, and then on SmackDown he comes out and talks about the same storyline and continues what he's saying. And I said, I felt like this could be a YouTube video. Why is this
yes,
30 minutes of my viewing?
and that would give them also on Raw or on SmackDown, they could do just a quick, hey, this happened on your past SmackDown. If you want to catch what happens next week, it's on Friday. Tune in, and same thing on Raw.
Yep.
This is a little quick, but I mean that's a little off subject. But this being
Yeah.
Survivor Series, it kind of isn't. But
Yeah.
yeah, Shinsuke wins. Back to the original match.
Circle all the way back. We went around the outside, and finally hit the original Slim Shady there, and we're back in it. But that only leaves one other solo match, and I think once again, as we both say, when something is so blatantly obvious as to who should win this, it's usually the opposite. Gunther is defending the world title. Cody Rhodes gets the night off, by the way, which is a shocker that Cody Rhodes is not somewhere on this show. Uh, but Gunther is going to defend against the person he beat, Damian Priest, and I'm in the camp that I want Damian to get another reign, and Gunther splitting off from Kaiser. You got to show that he can do it on his own. That Kaiser has really had no part in keeping the belt on Gunther, which he really hasn't. But you got to kind of show he did it on his own. So it just looks so blatantly obvious that Gunther's going to retain, that I feel like since Cody's not on the show, that if any title does move, I think Damian gets the belt back. He's done with the Judgment Day now. There's no hang-ups over there. Finn's not trailing him anywhere, so it's kind of like it's time for Damian to kind of have it on his own.
I was going to say Damian wins regardless. Um, I think only because to me it's obvious that Gunther's going to keep the title.
Right.
No. It's obvious that Gunther's going to lose the title. So, man, I need to go against that then. I mean, I need to go with the obvious because I've been going against the obvious and I've been wrong. I don't care. Damian wins.
Exactly. I, I like both these guys a lot, and I think they're both primetime players, and they are part of the new wave, even though they're both a little older. Damien's like 42 or something like that. But I just feel like Damien needs another good, solid run without all the entourage behind him, and let him carry it into Royal Rumble, potentially into Elimination Chamber, or even WrestleMania. He's big enough name to headline if he makes it that far.
Yeah. I also feel this might rub some people the wrong way, but I feel like Gunther is a Mr. Perfect, a Rick Rude, a Bret Hart in the manner of he looks better with the mid card titles on him. He could carry them with like Mr. Perfect. I would have loved to see Mr. Perfect with the world title, but he wasn't a world title guy. He was the guy that carried that mid belt. He could out wrestle anyone.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with Bret Hart. Even though Bret Hart did carry the world title, he looked good with that IC title.
He did.
That's what I want to see out of Gunther. I've never been sold on Gunther. I think he's a great performer. I just don't see him as the guy that I would want carrying my big title because he does have talk, but he doesn't. Like he doesn't have charisma. I feel, or they're not letting him use it.
That's what I'm just about to hit on. I've said it a few times. I don't remember if I've said it on this show, but I know I said it on the other show that what made his Intercontinental run or US, whichever it was, so great that it felt like he was writing his own stuff, so he was feeling the emotions. He was saying what he wanted to say, and it was coming out great. All the way up until it looks like they started feeding him lines to try to make him a more dastardly villain through his world title run. It seems like the lines aren't working because he's not believing what he's saying, so he's not performing it. He's just it's just and the cat went to the store. Okay, well, why should I care about the cat going to the store? It feels like they're feeding him lines now because it changed really quickly. Like when he was saying all those ones before, that's what made him so great and so believable. Was he was that believable villain. But now it's like they're telling him, like taking shots at Bill Goldberg. I mean, for one, Goldberg got a little upset, and at some point we're going to see those two fight. And Goldberg said his farewell match is coming up sooner rather than later. I just talked myself into Damian Priest 100% because you got to free up Gunther to go against him at Royal Rumble or something like that gets that out of the way. Goldberg gets one more good match in, and it makes Gunther look good that he beats that.
I'm okay with all that.
Yep. So see, we're all trying to free it up. We're freeing up LA Knight for a bigger run and to win the Royal Rumble. We're freeing up Damian Priest to headline WrestleMania. I mean, LA Knight, Damian Priest wouldn't be bad. You could do some stuff with that.
That would be nice. I think LA Knight turning heel against Cody would be beautiful.
That's the path that I like. I hope he does it before WrestleMania, but that's just me.
Yeah, I want LA Knight to be heel. I want him to be heel. I want him to be booed. And when he goes up there to say LA Knight, I want everybody to go LA boo. I want that. I want that for him because I feel like
he wants. When he goes to say it, he goes and does it, and he goes, "Oh, you guys are gullible."
Yeah. He pulls a rock.
Don't say my catchphrase.
Yeah, y'all can. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He pulls a rock. So I mean, I feel like he can do that, and it's time for that.
Oh, his work in TNA years ago, which was kind of the birthplace of what he does now, was just off the charts. The stuff he was coming up with. Like I said, he had this little buzzer he used to like to hit, and he'd always go, "Yeah, dummy."
Yeah,
he's just dropped the dummy for WWE stuff, but he used to say it all the time to where the crowd hated him, like big time. He could just peek out of a curtain and the place would just boo him out of the building. And I went, that guy's going to be a star.
That's what we need out of him again.
Yeah. So, I think he got too comfortable, but let's see. we both got Nakamura freeing that up. We both got Gunther dropping his belt, and we actually got Braun Breaker keeping his, which means it's probably going to be the opposite of all of it because Triple H is probably listening to us right now.
He's like, damn it, he figured us out.
Yeah. How do
Yeah,
these guys keep coming up with this?
yeah. They're having to rewrite stuff
Yeah.
every Thursday.
Yeah. All of a sudden they're like, wait, did he say Royal Rumble or did he say Elimination Chamber? Wait, you know what? We'll do it both. We'll do both.
Yeah.
Just invite us in. We won't cost much.
Nah, not at all.
You'd be surprised what you could
Just
pay us
give me
off
about
with.
a good man for real to do the job I love to do. I
Yeah.
get paid almost nothing to do the job I like.
Right. So I'm looking at. All right. You want to talk men or women?
Let's start with the women since that's going to be the
Okay.
first match anyway.
All right. Unfortunately, they didn't come up with cute names for their teams, so we will call
Which
it Team
bothers
Rhea and Team Leah Live for the sake of our argument, I guess, or you can call them whatever. But on one side, we're getting Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bailey, the newest team member. And they are going to go against Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and the Poison Pixie herself, Candice LeRae, who has become quite the little henchman, by the way. But she's pretty good at that.
So I feel that they gave the advantage to the good team so
For
that,
once.
yeah, which is weird, so that the bad team wins. I don't know who's going to win the women's. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not too invested in it. Don't really care. If I was to, that's why I'm okay with it being number one, being the first match. No, I'm being honest. I don't really care about it.
But it is going to
Um,
set the bar very high. That's why I said they're going to bury probably the breaker match behind this because they're going to think that's going to be good enough with three people to carry it. I think it's going to end up being a forgettable match, even though it's going to be really good because people are still going to be talking about. And I've got three potential points. I've got one person on each side that could flip, and then there's the wild
Bailey.
card that's in the middle of it anyway.
I see Bailey
I
or Naomi flipping or Bianca. I see one of those three on the good girls because Bianca or Jade has to flip eventually.
well, Jade's hurt,
I
legit
know
hurt.
she's hurt. She's not going to be there. That's what I'm saying. I know she's not going to be there. So this would be a good opportunity for Bianca to flip and cause the good team. That's also Bailey flipping because didn't everybody was kind of wondering about her as well. Could actually make it to where the good team loses. But I also
That's my
on the
pick,
other
Bailey.
side, I see Tiffy Time finally cashing her stuff in tonight or that
Yep,
night.
that's
That's what
point
I'm
number
rooting for.
three.
That I mean, it's we've been calling it now for about 3-4 months. It's bound to happen. Come on, guys.
She's gonna have. Let's see. The Raw champ is Liv. Not. She's gonna have both champions on her team, right
Yes.
there in the middle of this. So,
So
well, that's why I say that either Bailey flips, Stratton flips, or Stratton catches in. I think those, and that's why one of those three things, maybe two of those three things happen, and that's why nobody's going to remember that Braun Breaker took out Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser.
I don't think Tiffany flips. I think the crowd flips her. Like when she finally wins it, she becomes a fan favorite.
Maybe she wins it for the team.
And then, well, no, I'm talking about wins the title.
Oh, yeah,
When when she wins, that's what's going to have them
but
flip.
the problem is we're picking the bad team to win, and then we're having one of their own members flip on one of their other members to take out their belt. So we got to
So
incapacitate one of them
is
somehow.
this an elimination type or
No,
ever? See,
no, it's you alternate back and forth until you get all 10 people in the ring. It's a double ring with like a Hell in a Cell over the top of it. Well, it's not. It just you're stuck in the ring. You can't get out of the ring as to where the thing is. Like where Hell in a Cell, you have the outside space. This one is just a big double cage that goes over both rings that are sitting next to each other.
Okay, so I'm changing something then. The good team wins because Tiffy Time gets pinned. It pisses off one of the captains, and they're stuck in there. You know, as everybody's leaving, they're stuck in there saying, "What did you do? What did you do? You're the reason we lost." And or Liv and who's the other champion?
Raquel,
No, the champion.
Naya.
Yeah, Naya. Liv and Naya, one of them loses, and the other one gets mad at that one and beats him up, and she goes, cashes in right then and there, and it's done.
So what if there's a miscommunication somehow? I don't think Tiffany takes the loss because I mean
No,
then it
I'm
makes
going
no
to say
sense
it's
for
one
her
of
to
the
flip.
champions. One of the champions takes the loss and
What,
causes.
what if there's somehow Naya knocks Liv out and Raquel takes exception to it and goes after Naya, so they pair off. Candice LeRae tries to get in the middle of it to help Naya out to protect her. It leaves Tiffany sitting all alone right there. It would have to be after the match though, because they got to lift the cage. Unless she brings her briefcase in there with her, the briefcase will be on the outside.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they lose the match. It's because something happens, and Naya's over there in Liv's face, and she's about to beat her up because Liv cost Naya to lose, and
Yeah, there you go.
Raquel attacks Naya. Liv attacks Naya. They beat her down, leave her in there. Tiffany's
Candice
standing there
LeRae
with her,
goes to even it up.
and Tiffany's standing there with her briefcase as everybody's starting to leave, and Naya's kind of out in the ring. She's like, "Bump this! I'm cashing in."
It still says she catches on Liv though.
I could see that because she wants to be on the same show as her husband. We'll
Yeah,
see.
who is going to get ran over the match after this?
What if
But
they both walk out with titles after this match? I mean, after this night.
it could. It could very much happen because, we talk about freeing up LA Knight for bigger stuff. They could free up Breaker for something else too.
Yeah.
I see him in a tag team though. I think his next step's a tag team of some kind. I
Yeah.
don't know who yet. That's why I can't break him up yet because I can't find the partner yet. But
I think
there's
him and Bronson Reed would be dangerous. That would be a
I would not
scary
want I would
team.
not want to I would not want to be at a pizza buffet with those guys.
I know.
That pizza buffet had a family. But we got about 7 minutes to go to talk about what should be a bigger match than it really is. But we're getting the OG bloodline of Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Sammy, and pretend Uso, CM Punk. Interesting ad, by the way. And they're going to face Solo, Jacob Fatu, Kongaloa, Tama Tonga, and Bronson Reed that we just mentioned. By the way, I don't know how you fit all 10 of these people in 2 rings. It is going to be it's going to be like packing for family vacation. You are like standing on suitcases and like just hoping that the trunk doesn't come open because that is a lot of people to have in one match.
It's going to be an interesting. I'm still fighting this bronchitis. I to keep my throat moist. It's I could see either team winning and it making sense, but I think something that we've been calling for the past couple months needs to happen this episode, this premium live event. We've got to see a new member of either bloodline. I know you're shooting hard for Jacob to flip. I don't see that happening. I don't see
No, I
Jacob
don't. I
flipping.
don't. I don't at the moment. Now
Um,
there is somebody in this match that could flip.
CM Punk. I think CM Punk's going to flip. I feel like that he's there for Paul Heyman and only Paul Heyman.
See, I think Heyman stays with him after this.
I could see that, And that's why I said I could see CM Punk flipping, and this would reintroduce this. This would cause Seth. I think something's going to happen before that's going to cause Seth to join the bloodline, the original bloodline. Because I don't know. I just don't see CM Punk.
My problem is the person that would is the most replaceable is the one that I think is going to flip.
Sammy.
And I think Sami Zayn is the one that's going to flip because he's been dancing on both sides kind of sort of the whole time. He's trying to make it look like he's super loyal, but you got to remember who his best friend in the world is, and that's one Kevin Owens, who is notorious for flipping on people all the time.
But not only that, Sammy flipping on them, he would be able to get them all back for everything that they did to him.
Yep.
So I mean that makes a lot of sense too. If nobody
that theory
flips,
keeps Seth out, so
if nobody flips, the original bloodline wins this one.
I think they need to, but if we get the new member, because the weird thing is they have hired at least 2 or 3 other family members associated with this bloodline, and they're in NXT. They have yet to show up. I need to ask my buddy who was just down at the Performance Center. I think he got a general tour. He was there for NXT on Tuesday, probably because there's a good shot he might actually be on camera pretty soon for them. But
Love that.
you'll have to meet him sometime. But the weird thing is they're signed to NXT contracts, but they have yet to show up on screen, which tells me it's like signing somebody in a minor league deal and then debuting them on a Friday afternoon against the Yankees. It's just you know they're sitting there and the Yankees don't. And so here we are, we're going to tune into this, and all of a sudden here comes this member or that member, and we just go, oh, here's that guy, here's that guy, here's that guy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how we were with the other two, to be honest with you. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. I did, and I had heard that they had been signed, so I was looking to see what they were doing. Jacob was the one that I was like, whoa, when did they get him?
Well, I knew who Jacob was. I didn't know who the other two were. I didn't know who Tungaloa was or Tama Tonga. So, but I only knew who Jacob was because Tungaloa and Tama Tonga surprised me so much that I started looking into it. So
and Jacob actually dropped about 30 or 40 pounds in the time he got signed and the time he was on WWE television.
But I've been seeing a lot of Umaga's son doing interviews and stuff, and his finishing move is the ZZZ, the triple Z, which is a Superman punch and a Samoan spike all in one. Yeah, it's a flying. It's a flying.
I'm gonna get to see this live because Deep South Wrestling. We only have 2 minutes, but Deep South Wrestling has a show at New Realm Brewery on December the 15th, I believe, and it is going to be my buddy who I just said, Skrilla the Great, versus Zilla Fatu. That's the main event. So that's a Sunday afternoon. Maybe we try to free you up for that.
Off that day, dude. I'm off. I requested that whole weekend off because me and the wife are going. Friday we're going to Helen, and then Saturday we're going to Dahlonega. But I'm off that Sunday, so I'd love to fucking come, dude.
Oh, then looks like Impact Media is going to ride a little deeper that day. But
let's go.
We got a minute left. I'm going to go OGs. You got OGs in this one?
Yeah.
I think OGs, and then the new people show up.
Let's do it. I agree.
But for my amazing tag team partner, Daniel Snyder, I am Jeremy York. This has been Fabulous Wrestling Talk, WWE Survivor Series. Tune in and watch this, guys. It's going to be so much fun. We'll be back next week to talk about all the crazy things that happened and how Triple H stole our ideas and did the polar opposite of what we said. But until then, we will see you guys next time. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting. Deuces, gooses.
Peace.